Today we're going to take a look at a new Docker container that I recently completed. This allows you to build current Android applications without installing anything other than Docker desktop for Windows. And once that's done, it makes building Cordova Android apps really easy, and it's fast. So I'm going to show you all the functionality of the Docker container and how it works within Alpha Anywhere. And I'm going to divide this into a set of videos. So because there's a lot that we need to cover in terms of how to manage the containers and just little things like that. But so I'll just give you a quick overview of what it does, and then we'll talk about what you need to install, and we'll talk about how you manage it and all of those things, and they'll be in separate videos. All right, so let's take a look at what it is. So I want to build a Cordova Android application. I don't want to have to install Java, Gradle, Android, all the Android tools and all of that, and I'm on a Windows machine. So what are my options? Well, one is to spend a day and configure and install all that stuff, or you can use the container that I've put together for you and all the tools that support that container. And so let's see what that's like. So at this point, I've got Docker Desktop installed. You can see it right here. The Windows Linux subsystem is also installed. That's the first thing you do. Actually, part of this installed Docker Desktop will install it, or when you go to install the desktop. However, let's take a look at it. So I've got this application here, a component. That's a camera test component. It's going to be using the camera in a Cordova application. We're going to build this out as a Cordova Android app. So we'll start out. So we'll go to Cordova. Here, notice I've got the camera test here. I'm going to go ahead and, let's say, save and launch the Cordova builder. And notice here that I've said generate Android build, and I say build Android project with the Alpha Android build container. Let's go ahead and build the app. Now in this case, I had an existing project. So if I wanted to update the project, so this means I've already installed it once. Actually, let me do this. Let's go ahead and delete the existing. See, this would be like a brand new build. And it will come up with something like this. And then you just say you want to run it. It will see, the Docker desktop is installed. Now it's pulling all of the files that it needs down from GitHub. Automatically happens, all right? And there's a check to verify. It looks like we've got an environment that we can run in. It couldn't verify that WSL2 was installed, but you need to make sure you do that when you install the Windows Linux subsystem. At this point, you're going to see this menu right here, the Cordova Android debug build tool. So we're going to do we're doing a debug build, but you can also generate full production builds as well. And in this case, we're in the development stage, so we're developing this stuff. We can pair things wirelessly, so you don't have to hook your Android device up to through a wire. You can just do it wirelessly. We'll go through that again in a later video. So at this point, I'm just going to show you what it takes to build something out. So I'm just going to say I want to do a full reset here, which means that this is the first time I'm building this project, and this will take the longest time because it's got to install everything, all the plugins and all the supporting tools and everything. So let's see what that's like. So we'll hit 1 and it will start. So now notice the first thing it does is it deletes all the existing volumes that are there. Now those volumes are sitting on the Linux side of things. And what I do is I leave those up and running so that if you are building in succession, you're testing things out, you're going back to alpha, you're making changes to your component, then you want to build out another app, then I leave those running because it's much, much faster to just leave everything running. So when we're pulling this stuff in, it will load into these native Linux directories, and that's what it's going to use to do the builds. And you can actually see that if you jump into Docker desktop and you look at volumes, you'll see these were all created 51 seconds ago. So we're caching a whole bunch of stuff here to make it really, really fast. So let's minimize that and let's see where we are. So we're in the build process. It's now going to start a Gradle daemon, which is going to, Gradle is used for building out the Android applications. This takes a while, so just be patient and let it go through its thing. This is something that you would do once normally when you're building out a project. So you do this, do the full reset, the full build, and then any changes you want to make to the project, you can just do these turbo sync builds, and it's really, really fast. So we'll be looking at that in a sec. Okay, our build was successful, and now it's going to, when it says it's pre-warming the turbo cache, what it's doing is it's going to be saving those files in a cache, again, to make everything fast. So everything we've done here is to make things fast. Now notice it realized that there was a previous install of this app on my device, and so what it did was it uninstalled it and reinstalled it. So this has got the proper signature, and it will automatically just launch. And here you can see, let's go get this, and you can see the app running on my Android device right now. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and, at this point, you can just close this window out if you'd like. But we'll go into that a bit further. Okay, so this is my application here. Let's make sure we've got our development server running. It is, and let's say I want to so I'm going to make an AJAX callback, and there you can see we did that, and it's communicating with our server, so we're happy about that. And now I could say I want to take a picture. And again, this is native. At this point, we're using the native photo application. Take a picture. Say, okay, that's good. And here I'm just putting up alert showing where that file is. And here we can see the EXIF data associated with that image. So we can see that it's working just fine. And notice our camera test version is 1.0.0. Now I'm going to leave this running, and we're going to go into alpha, and we're going to make a change. We'll change the version number, okay? So we'll jump in here to camera test. And right in the header there, I've got the version number. So let's make a change to that. So we're going to go make that 1.0.1. Okay, so any changes you made in here, JavaScript changes, CSS changes, anything you change to the component, as long as you don't use another plugin, you can go ahead and use the turbo sync, and you'll see how fast that is. So let's go ahead and save that. So we save the file, and at this point, just close out the component, run the Cordova builder again, save and launch. And in this case, we do the same thing. We're going to generate an Android build, and we're going to use the Docker container. Go ahead and build the app, and it will say, oh, do you want to update the existing project? Or do you want to delete and start fresh? No, I want to update the existing project because I'm not installing any new plugins or anything like that. So we'll just do one, and it says, run TurboSync to update the Cordova Android app. Operations complete, and the project mode is update. Now we go back here and then just select yes because we want to run the container. Now I'm going to bring the device over here so you can see that this is running version 1.0 right now. And now we're going to do a TurboSync, so number 2. Let me move that over here a little bit so you can see. Okay, and there we go. So it's going to start during the TurboSync. It sees there were changes in the www directory, and that's how fast it did it. It did it in build was successful in 1 second, And there you can see camera test version 1.0.1. So that is a really quick overview of what you can do with a Docker container, with the new container that's been built for building out Cordova Android applications. And this is using all the latest tooling, the latest Cordova CLI, and we will continuously update this as Cordova updates their software as well. So we'll keep it current and make it easy for you guys to use. So I'll continue on this discussion in my next video. Thanks.